Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really powerful guide to finding a deep, profound inner peace. It comes from the 17th century mystic writer Molinos, and honestly, it's like a roadmap for finding a quiet center in our very, very noisy world.
So let's just jump right in with a question that, well, you might find hits a little close to home. Have you ever tried to meditate or pray, and you settle in ready for peace, only to find that your mind is louder than ever before? You know, where it feels less like a moment of rest and more like another task on your to-do list?
Yeah, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. The source material for this explainer really zeroes in on this common struggle. So many of us spend our quiet time talking at the divine, just filling the silence with our own thoughts, our plans, our worries. We find it so hard to just stop and simply be.
So how do we get past that? Well, Molino suggests there's a really fundamental shift we can make. He says there are basically two ways to approach our inner life, and just understanding the difference between them, that's the first real step onto a much deeper path.
And look at this contrast here. On one side, you've got what he calls intellectual prayer. It's all about thinking about the divine, using your mind, analyzing. It's a path of constant seeking. But on the other side, you have contemplative prayer, and that's about gazing at the divine. It's not about the mind, it's about the heart. It's not seeking anymore, it's a state of finding. It's simple and it's restful. I love this analogy. He says it's like the difference between preparing a meal and actually enjoying it. You know, one way is all the work, the chopping, the planning, the effort. The other way, it's just sitting down, receiving, and enjoying the nourishment that's already there for you. And what happens is, when you start to understand that difference, you naturally want to move from all that preparation into just enjoying the meal. You begin to crave a way of connecting that's quieter, more direct, a way that goes beyond words. So if you've ever been on a spiritual path and felt totally drained or like you've hit a dry patch, the text says this isn't a sign you're failing. Actually, it's the opposite. It's a really good sign. It means you're being pulled away from the limits of your own effort and drawn towards something much deeper, something more restful.
And the key here is making a pivot. It's about consciously turning away from all the chatter in your head and turning toward this quiet center of your being. This is the place where true communication happens, not with words, but in total silence, in a state of simple love and surrender.
Okay, so where is this place? How do we even find it? Molinos gives us this amazing metaphor to help us picture it. He calls it your own internal sanctuary. Think of it like this. Deep inside of you, right now, there is an inner fortress, a sacred, unshakable kingdom. And the best part is, it's not something you have to build. It's already there. You just have to discover it and learn how to retreat there when you need safety and true rest.
And let's be real, we need that fortress, right? Because life is constantly throwing stuff at us that tries to steal our peace. You know? Anxious thoughts that just spiral, the pressures of daily life, temptations, suffering, doubts. It's a constant barrage.
So the advice here is incredibly simple, but it is so profound. When that storm hits on the outside, stop trying to fight it out there in the rain. Don't engage with it on its own terms. Instead, retreat within. Go to the fortress.
But this is where it can get really tricky. What happens when you try to retreat to that inner fortress and nothing? It just feels empty or dry. It feels like you're failing at being quiet. What then?
Yeah, that feeling of just spinning your wheels, like you're not making any progress at all. The text says this is actually a totally normal, even expected part of the journey. And there's this incredible analogy to explain why it's not only normal, but actually necessary.
So imagine an ox treading grain. It's just walking in a circle, right? Over and over. From the outside, it looks like it's making absolutely zero forward progress. But with every single step, it's doing this vital work. It's separating the valuable grain from the useless chaff. The work is slow, it's hidden, but it is incredibly fruitful.
And your inner work during those dry periods, it's just like that ox. It might feel like you are going nowhere, but slowly, quietly, something is being purified. These moments that feel like failure are actually teaching you the most important lesson: to stop relying on your own strength and to start trusting a deeper, unseen process. And this whole journey of letting go, of trusting the process even when it's dry, it leads us to the ultimate destination. It's what Molinos so beautifully calls the sweet yoke. Here it is. This is the great paradox at the very heart of this teaching. Real peace, real freedom, It's not found in getting more control or making things go your way. It's found in the exact opposite. It's found in completely letting go, in surrendering your will to a will that is greater than your own.
The text brings in this quote from St. Augustine that just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures this universal mistake we make. We search frantically in the outside world for achievements, for possessions, for experiences, looking for a presence that has been quietly waiting inside us the entire time.
And that really brings us to the final core takeaway here. The peace, the presence, the connection that we are all so desperate for, it isn't something we need to go out and find. It's a reality we just need to awaken to, right where we are, inside ourselves. And so that's the thought I want to leave you with from this explainer. What would change for you, right now, if you stopped searching so hard outside, and instead just started to listen to the quiet that's already waiting for you on the inside?
For more spiritual resources, visit lokaken.ai.